I was making some direct to vendor rent to rent sourcing calls the other day, and I made a first call, I got a no. I made a second call, got a no. I made a third call, got another no. And then the fourth call, I got a winner. And then, do you know what? I chose a different area because I was working with someone to help them get deals. And then the same thing happened. And I realized there was a pattern, okay? This type of landlord is amazing for rent to rent. And on this video, I'm gonna share how to identify them and how you should help them. Check it out. I'm Simon, the founder of Rent to Rent 2.0, and on this video, I want to share with you this special kind of landlord that's absolutely perfect for rent to rent. And I've seen this lots of times in my journey, but I've seen it twice in one day the other day, and I was like, do you know what? If you don't know what you don't know, let me share it with you right now. So look, you've got different type of landlord profiles. And as I always say, rent to rent is not, I repeat, not for everyone. So you trying to sell rent to the wrong landlord is like you trying to sell painkiller to somebody that's not in pain. It's like you trying to sell pizza to somebody that fancies a burger. They're just not in the market for that. That's not what they're after. They're not on that. So stop trying it. Like banging your head against a brick wall, trying to sell rent to rent. Bro, they don't want rent to rent. Allow it. But listen, all jokes aside, you've got the landlords that are professional, that want all the profits. Maybe you've got the tired professional landlords that now want to step back, but they've not got a budget. I've got about 10 of these different landlord profiles to look out for or to avoid. But in this video, I want to talk about accidental landlords. These are landlords that probably own one property and for some reason they've accidentally acquired an extra one that they want to rent, but they don't really know much about property. They've got no interest in managing it themselves. You know, they just don't want nothing to do with it. All they want is pretty much to get the money every month and they don't want to hear about it. But there's a few different types of these landlords. So one of them is the type of landlord that's relocating quickly, you know, maybe to the Middle East for a job or, you know, maybe down south for a job. And for whatever reason, they don't want to sell their property because they still view their place as home, but they need to move quickly. And this is great because what this means is they usually going to leave the property fully furnished. They want to rent the property. They're often on a residential mortgage if they've got a mortgage. A lot might not, but a lot will. So they're going to need consent to let, but they're already open to that. And a lot of these people will try it out for a year or two, but maybe in 2 years' time, if it works, they'll then convert onto the right mortgage. Disclaimer, the right mortgage. So what happens is when you're on a residential mortgage or when you're on a buy-to-let mortgage and you want to do something different, you need to speak to your lender and get consent to HMO or consent to holiday let or whatever that is. But once they grant that and then the fixed term expires, you can then get a new mortgage, the correct mortgage product where you wouldn't need the consent to. That's what I'm referring to here. So you've got that. They want to leave their furniture. They need to move. They don't want to sell it. They don't want nothing to do with it. They just want the income because they may have mortgage payments or, you know, they're going to have another mortgage. So they definitely don't want the stress. It's not like they've got a big portfolio to offset it. And they're really, really quite normal and amenable and nice and grateful for this amazing thing called guaranteed rent that's going to fulfill their need. Now, I've done so many of these deals over the years. I've done ones where people have moved to Australia, America, the Middle East. I've done ones where people have moved 4 or 5 hours around the United Kingdom for a job. Sometimes you'll find people inherit an extra property, largely unencumbered, that they don't want anything to do with. You know, maybe they've got sentimental attachment to the property and they just don't want to think about it, but they'll have the income. You've also got people that maybe can't sell their property. So they've got a property around the corner, but they can't sell it. And then you've got the educated accidental landlord. So I've got a rent-to-rent deal, and a lovely guy next door to one of my rent-to-rent deals. And every time I did the guttering at mine, I'd say, oh, do you want yours doing? Do it. Every time I did the jet washing at mine, I say, obviously I didn't do it. I'm rubbish at DIY. A member of my team did. I'd say, ask next door to see if they want theirs doing as well. And then after 2 years, he gave me a call and said, listen, Simon, you know what you do next door? Well, how can I go about not selling my property but still moving on? So we transferred him on to the correct mortgage. You know, he got a lump of capital so we could still move on. But then we now rent to rent his property, guarantee his rent, which he's over the moon because he's getting income there. He's getting capital appreciation there. Plus he's got a new house. So you can actually educate people into being the perfect accidental rent to rent landlord too. So next time you're sourcing deals, be aware, if you see someone with quite a nice house, fully furnished, find out what their movements are, because they could be the perfect next landlord or landlady for you. If you found this useful, hit the subscribe button. I don't ask for much. Honestly, I really don't ask for much. I think about 55% of you are subscribed right now. Let's increase that, because the more of you that subscribe, the more effort and resources I'm going to put into these videos, and the bigger we can scale the channel. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.